The Hundred Immortals is a book written by Michael Hart, a list of characters in the book, according to the writer's opinion. 1. Muhammad is the messenger of Islam. 2. Isaac Newton was a physicist, mathematician, and author of the laws of motion. 3. Jesus is the central figure and founder of Christianity, and Muslims recognize him as a prophet. 4. Buddha, founder of Buddhism. 5. Confucius, the founder of Confucianism. 6. Paul is the greatest preacher of Christianity. 7. Cai Lun, inventor of paper. 8. Johann Gutenberg, inventor of printing. 9. Christopher Columbus, discoverer of America. 10. Albert Einstein, founder of the theory of relativity. 11. Che Guevara is a physician, writer, leader, military leader, world head of state, and a key figure in the Cuban Revolution. Since his death, his stylized image has become a ubiquitous icon and universal badge within popular culture. 12. Louis Pasteur, bacterial finder and pasteurization. 13. Galileo Galilei, astronomer, he confirmed the Earth's rotation around the Sun, paving the way for Newton's work. 14. Aristotle, a philosopher and scientist, founded the science of logic. 15. Lenin was the first responsible for the establishment of communism in Russia and a student of Karl Marx. 16. Moses is the messenger of the Jewish religion, and he is a prophet whose prophecies recognized by Muslims. His miracles were supported by the Torah, the Bible, and the Quran. 17. Darwin, the English scientist with the theory of natural selection. One of his most important books is The Origin of Species, in which he inspired the idea that men and monkeys, or rather chimpanzees, trace back to one origin, the common ancestor. 18. Xi Huangdi, a Chinese emperor who made massive reforms in China and united it to this day. He standardized China, weights and measures, the size of carrots, and the shape of characters, but made a great foolishness by burning all the books of his time to eliminate the work of Confucius, and in his reign, the Great Wall of China was built. 19. Augustus Caesar, founder of the Roman Empire, nephew of Julius Caesar. He ended civil wars and restored order to the Roman Republic. 20. Mao Zedong, leader of the Chinese Communist Party. Marxist, was a fanatic. China's transition from capitalism to socialism. 21. Genghis Khan, the Mongol leader who united the Mongolian troops and led them to the war outside his country, seized northern China and Persia, then died, and his son Oktay Khan completed after him. 22. Euclid, the mathematician who wrote the book Principles of Geometry. 23. Martin Luther, the man who challenged the Roman Catholic Church. He rejected the idea of indulgences. One of the effects Luther's direction on the church was the outbreak of a religious war in Europe, and it was blatantly bloody between Catholics and Protestants. 24. Nicholas Copernicus, Polish astronomer, proved that the earth revolves around the sun. 25. James Watt, inventor of the steam engine and pioneer of the Industrial Revolution. 26. Constantine the Great, the first Christian Roman emperor, and because of him, Christianity spread. He rebuilt and expanded the ancient city of Byzantium, and it became known as Constantinople. 27. George Washington, first President of the United States of America. His most important achievement was when he led the independence armies. 28. Michael Faraday, inventor of the first electric motor. He discovered many principles of electromagnetism. He refused a knighthood and declined the post of President of the British Royal Society. 29. James Clerk Maxwell, British physicist, who discovered the four known equations between electricity and magnetism. His other contributions are in optics, astronomy, thermodynamics, and the theory of aircraft motion. 30. The Wright brothers invented the airplane. 31. Lavoisier is one of the most important scientists who contribute to the development of chemistry. He emphasized the contribution means that union of oxygen with the burning substance, and that water is compound, not an element. He wrote the book Principles of Chemistry. 32. Freud. Founder of psychoanalysis, he developed his theory of building the human personality and emphasized the importance of the unconscious or subconscious mind. He is the owner of the theory of sexual repression. 33. Alexander the Great. He is the most famous of the conquerors of antiquity. He won all his battles against the Persians. He captured Egypt, Iran, and Afghanistan and fought several battles in western India. He was planning to invade the Arabian Peninsula, northern Persia, Rome, India, and Carthage, but he died of a fever at the age of 33. 34. Napoleon Bonaparte, Emperor of France, who reformed the financial and judicial system and established the Bank of France and the University of France. He led battles against England and Spain, invaded Egypt, and was defeated by Russia. 35. Adolf Hitler. Michael Hart says he had to regret putting Hitler on the list despite his extreme disgust. He doesn't want to honor a man who killed 35 million people, but the list of immortals talks about the most influential, and Hitler is the German leader who caused World War II. His racist outlook made him execute a number of Russians, Gypsies, Jews, and others. He relied on his rhetorical ability to move people. 36. William Shakespeare. The great poet and playwright with masterpieces such as Julius Caesar, King Lear, Hamlet, Macbeth. 37. Adam Smith is a professor of philosophy who developed economic theories and author of the book The Search for the Nature and Causes of the Wealth of Nations. 38. Edison, inventor of the light bulb, phonograph, typewriter, telegraph, dry batteries, and microphones. 1,000 inventions were registered in his name. 39. Leeuwenhoek, the discoverer of the microbe and the structure of sperm, and the first to describe red blood cells. 40. Plato, the Greek philosopher, author of the book The Republic. 41. Marconi, inventor of the radio. 42. Beethoven is the greatest musician of all time. He became totally deaf in his late 40s. 43. Werner Heisenberg is awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics for establishing quantum mechanics. 44. Alexander Graham Bell, inventor of the telephone. 45. Alexander Fleming, the discoverer of penicillin, who saved millions of lives and contributed to the treatment of many diseases. 46. Simon Bolivar, liberated Latin America from Spanish occupation. 47. Cromwell, a military leader who defeated the English royalist armies in the Civil War and helped establish parliamentary democracy in England. 48. John Locke is an English philosopher who established the principles of constitutional democracy. 49. Michelangelo is a painter, sculptor, and architect whose work emerged in the era of modernity. 50. Pope Urban II is the pope who called the Christian world to a holy war to restore the Holy Land and those initiated to crusades. 51. Omar bin al-Khattab, the second of the rightly guided caliphs. During his reign, Syria, Palestine, Egypt, and Persia were conquered. Omar contributed to the spread of Islam. 52. Ashoka, king of India, who was disturbed by military wars, embraced Buddhism and helped spread it. 53. Saint Augustine, the most important theologian of his time. He is the author of the books The City of God and Confucius. 54. Max Planck, physicist and author of the quantum theory. 55. John Calvin, a theologian who helped spread Protestantism. He encouraged people to discuss with clerics and seek knowledge, and he burned atheists and magicians. 56. William Morton, the scientist responsible for the introduction of anesthesia in surgical procedures. 57. William Harvey, English physician, discoverer of blood circulation and heart function. 58. Anthony Henry Becquerel, discoverer of radiation. 59. Mendel, the Austrian monk, discovered the laws of heredity. 60. Joseph Lister, British surgeon who invented surgical sterilization. 61. Nicholas Otto, German scientist, inventor of the internal combustion engine, an invention on which the automobile, aircraft, and motorcycle industry originated. 62. Louis de Gaulle is one of the pioneers of photography. 63. Stalin, dictator of the Soviet Union, contributed to the spread of the international communism. In Russia, he adopted a policy of mass industrialization, the result of which was that Russia became a great international power. 64. Descartes, French mathematician and philosopher. 65. Julius Caesar. Caesar, Rome, the absolute power of the owner of military victories over Spain and the Gallic troops. 66. Francisco Pizarro, the illiterate Spanish commander who conquered the Inca Empire in Peru, was one of the most violent and bloody Spanish conquistadors. 67. Hernan Cortes, Conqueror of Mexico. 68. Queen Isabella I of Castile, who ruled Spain and Latin America, helped Columbus to discover America. During her reign, the Inquisition courts were established to eliminate Jews and Muslims. 69. William the Conqueror, the owner of the Norman conquest of England, crossed the English Channel with a few thousand soldiers to be the ruler of England. 70. Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, author of the Declaration of Independence and the Louisiana Purchase, which expanded the area of America by including 13 states. 71. Jean-Jacques Rousseau, French philosopher, author of The Social Contract and Email. His ideas helped lead the French Revolution. 72. Edward Jenner, English physician who developed methods of vaccination as a preventive measure against smallpox. 73. Röntgen, professor of physics and philosophy who discovered X-rays. 74. Johann Sebastian Bach, the German musician. Johann Sebastian Bach was not famous during his lifetime, but critics 50 years later considered him one of the greatest musicians. 75. Lao Tzu, the owner of the Taoist religion, has the book Lao Tzu, which is the most famous Chinese book that has been translated into all languages. It is a religion that says that man should not resist nature, but conform to it. 76. Enrico Fermi, designer of the atomic reactor. 77. Thomas Malthus, the author of the short research study of population growth and its impact on the future growth of society, in which economists and believers were affected by family planning and pregnancy planning, which led to the emergence of the contraceptive pill. 78. Francis Bacon. Francis Bacon, the first philosopher to preach science and technology. Among his most important books are Philosophy of Science and Articles. 79. Voltaire is a poet, novelist, and philosopher, one of the pioneers of the Enlightenment in France. 80. JFK, President of the United States. One of his most important achievements was that in his era, the Apollo flight to outer space. 81. Pinchos, American biologist who developed the contraceptive pill, and because of it, revolutionary changes occurred in the relations between the sexes. 82. Xu Wenqi, the emperor who unveiled all of China. 83. Mani, the founder of the Manichaean religion, which spread in the Middle East and west to the Atlantic Ocean for more than 1,000 years. 84. Vasco da Gama, the Portuguese traveler who discovered the direct route from Europe to India by sailing around Africa. 85. Charlemagne, Emperor of France, founder of the Holy Roman Empire, one of the most important rulers in the history of Europe. 86. Cyrus the Great, founder of the Persian Empire. 87. Leonhard Euler, the Swiss mathematician and physicist who discovered the general laws of mechanics and the laws of motion of the sun, earth, and moon. 88. Machiavelli, the Italian political philosopher, author of the book The Prince, and the book is a set of advice for the ruler, and he believes that the politician has no morals or religion, and he must arm himself with deception and lies to reach his goals. 89. Zoroastrian, The founder of the Zoroastrian religion, which has lived for 25 centuries and has followers to this day, is the author of the book Agatsi. 90. Mina, the first king of apes and the first to unite apes. 91. Peter the Great is considered the greatest of the Russian Tsars, and the policy of westernization was the most ambitious plan undertaken by a ruler of Russia of all time. 92. Mencius, the most important Chinese philosopher who came after Confucius. 93. Dalton, the British scientist who introduced the atom as one of the hypotheses in scientific studies, and since then the atom has become an entrance and a key to the tremendous progress in chemistry. 94. Homer is a writer who has a great influence on world literature, and it is believed to be the author of the two epics, the Iliad and the Odyssey. 95. Elizabeth I is the greatest who ever sat on the throne of England. 96. Justinian, emperor who formulated Roman law, which became the basis of legislation in European countries. 97. Johannes Kepler, a German who discovered the laws of planetary motion. 98. Pablo Picasso is one of the most famous plastic artists. 100. Niels Bohr, the author of the theory of building the atom.